Hello everyone. Today I am here to present the class 7 our past chapter 5 rulers and buildings. Rulers here we mean the rulers who ruled during the medieval times, particularly Delhi Sultans right from Qutbuddin Aibak to Ibrahim Lodi and Mughal emperors right from Babur who ruled from 1526 to till Bahadur Shah II, that is Bahadur Shah Zafar. Here two important rulers I have shown. The first one is she is she is one of the famous ruler, first woman ruler who sat on the Delhi throne. Can you guess who is she? She is Razia Sultana, daughter of Iltutmish. Here one important ruler of Mughal Empire is there. He is the greatest among all. Can you guess? He is Akbar, who was the ever greatest ruler. Here one important monument is there. This monument is the tomb of Akbar, which is located at Sikandra, Agra in India. This is one of the important tallest tower which is located in New Delhi. Can you guess? It is Qutub Minar. Qutub Minar construction started by Qutbuddin Aibak. He was the first Sultan of Delhi. His first balcony was completed by Qutbuddin Aibak around 1199. It is located in New Delhi. Iltutmish completed this structure. Who is the next important sultan? These are all Qutbuddin Aibak and Iltutmish. Two kinds of structures built by the rulers. Between the 8th and the 18th centuries, kings and their officers built two kinds of structures. First were forts, palaces, and tombs, etc. The second category of structures were public purpose, whatever they have made, public activity, including temples, mosques, gardens, tanks, wells, caravanserais, and bazaars. This is one of the important fort, Agra Fort, which is located in Agra, which was built using red sandstone by Akbar. It is located on the bank of river Yamuna. This is Jodhbhai Palace, located in Fatehpur Sikri, which was again built by Akbar using red sandstone and marble. The next important building is Akbar's tomb, located at Sikandra, Agra, which is again built by Humayun, which is again built by Jahangir by using red sandstone. These are all examples of first category of structures. Second category of structures including temples. This was a famous temple built by Akbar in Agra. Mosque. This is another famous mosque which is also coming under second category structure, which is meant for public utilities. It is meant for only public. Public uses this, whether Hindus or Muslims. These are gardens. In Mughal times, they have built Chahar Garden. Chahar Gardens they have built in Lahore, Delhi, Srinagar, and Agra. These are the four. This is one of the beautiful Chahar Garden. located on the bank of river Yamuna. This is between Sikandra, that is Akbar's tomb, and Taj Mahal, and it is a very finest garden built by. This is Taj Mahal, built by white marble by Shah Jahan. This is one of the Chahar Bagh. Chahar Bagh is quoted in Babar Nama by Babar about the interest they have shown to make this beautiful garden in different places. And they also built tanks for public purpose and also wells. The well which is contained here, the steps are leading into the well. Wells and tanks also coming under second category building. Then the caravanserais. The caravanserais are built along the roadside because it is used for the people who are going on caravan for a purpose of trade and other important activities. Bazaar. Bazaars are also coming in the second category structure. These are the bazaars that were looking this shape during the time of Mughals. This is one of the important fort built by Akbar. Where is it located? Can you guess? It is in Agra. It is built by using red sandstone. It is on the bank of river Yamuna. Do you know labor for the Agra fort built by Akbar? The Agra fort required 2,000 stone cutters, 2,000 cement and lime makers, and 8,000 laborers. Engineer, Engineering skills and constructions. Monuments provide an insight into the technologies used for construction. The task becomes difficult if we want to make a large room with an elaborate superstructure. This requires more sophisticated skills. Between the 7th and 10th centuries, architecture started adding more rooms, doors, and windows to buildings. That's why they need sophisticated technologies and advanced engineering skills. Roofs, doors, windows were still made by placing a horizontal beam across two vertical columns, a style of architecture called trabete or corbelled. This is the trabete or corbelled architecture. This is one of the important examples of Kuwatul Mosque located in Delhi. It is used trabete architecture not only for mosques but also in temples and other forts, and this kind of architecture was applied by the rulers between the 8th and 13th centuries. This style was used in the construction of temples, mosques, tombs, and in buildings attached to wells. Baulis means wells. This is one of the beautiful temple located in South India. Can you guess? This is the Raja Rajeshwara temple at Tanjavur, at the tallest shikhara amongst temples of its time. This is the shikhara. This is the tallest shikhara. Constructing it was not easy because there were no cranes in those days, and the 90 ton stone for the top of, this is the top of the 90 ton stone shikhara was too heavy to lift manually, so the architects built an inclined path to the top of the temple, placed in the boulder on rollers and rolled it all the way to the top. So this is the technology used by the Cholas to build this Raja Rajeshwara temple located in Tanjavur. This is another temple in northern India. It is located at Khajuraho, Madhya Pradesh. This was built by the Chandela rulers. This is temple known as Kandariya Mahadeva temple, dedicated to Shiva, was constructed in 999 by King Dhangadeva of the Chandela dynasty. An ornamented gateway led to an entrance and the main hall, that is Mahamandapam, where dances were performed. The images of the chief deity was kept in the main shrine, Garbhagriha. This was the place for ritual worship where only the king, his immediate family and priest gathered. No other person is allowed inside the Garbhagriha of this famous Tandaraya Mahadeva temple located at Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh. Two technologies, two technological and stylistic development took place during the time of medieval times. The weight of the superstructure above, above the doors and windows was sometimes carried by arcs. This is architectural form was called arcuate. This is arcuate, true arcuate architectural forms that is being used highly by both Delhi Sultans and Mughal emperors as well as the Cholas, Pandyas and Cheras of South India. Limestone cement was increasingly used in construction because cement was not available at that time. This was a very high quality cement which when mixed with stone chips hardened because this looks very hardened when it mixed with the chips into concrete. This made construction of large structure easier and faster. So like that, limestone was highly used during the medieval times due to the absence of cement as we are using today. Building temples, mosques and tanks. Temples and mosques were beautifully constructed because they were places of worship. They were also meant to demonstrate the power, wealth, devotion of the patron. The largest temples were all constructed by kings. Example, Raja Rajeshwara temple. Muslim sultans and padashahs did not claim to be incarnations of God, but Persian court chronicles described the sultan as the shadow of God. An inscription in the Delhi mosque explained that God chose Alauddin as a king because he had the qualities of Moses and Solomon. These are all the different plans and structures of Jama Masjid as well as the Raja Rajeshwara temple located and Brihadeshwara temple located in Tamil Nadu. This is a golden temple also known as Harminder Sahib. It is a holy place of Sikh. Its meaning is abode of God. It is a Gurudwara located in the city of Amritsar, Punjab, India. It is the prominent spiritual site of Sikhism. The Gurudwara is built around a man-made pool. Man-made pool is nothing but Sarovar that was completed by the fourth Sikh Guru, Guru Ram Das, in 1577. In 1604, Guru Arjan Dev, the fifth Guru of Sikhism, requested Sai Mir Mia Muhammad, a Muslim Peer of Lahore, to lay its foundation. So, its foundation inauguration began from 1604 onwards. Even till today, the Sikh followers, the Sikh devotees used to go there and to perform annual congregations. And this is also known as uh, a famous place in our country. There are some important holy places for Sikhism. One is Amritsar and Nanded Sahib and then Nankana Sahib in Pakistan. So these are three important holy places for Sikhs who are living exclusively in Punjab and also in less number in other states also. Why were temples destroyed? Kings built temples to demonstrate their devotion to God and their power and wealth. It is not surprising that when they attacked one another's kingdoms, they often targeted these temples and other buildings. In the early 19th century, when the Pandyan king Shri Mara Shri Vallabha invaded Sri Lanka and defeated the king Sena I, the Buddhist monk and chronicler Dhammakirti noted. He removed all the valuables. The statue of the Buddha, made entirely of gold in the Jebel Palace, and the golden images in the various monasteries, all these he seized. So that's why the temples and the important holy places were destroyed. This is one example. We will have two more examples. He is Sri Vallabha, Sri Mara Sri Vallabha, the Pandyan kingdom, whose capital is Madurai. This is Pandyan kingdom, and this is the kingdom of fish. And fish is their main, you can say, the avatar. And then here, the, the kings of Pandyans defeated the Sri Lanka kings. Sena I at the time he was a king. And he is the Sena I, the Sri Lankan king. And he is the person, a Buddhist monk, chronicler, and whose name is Dhammakirti. He wrote all these things like that. The Pandyan king Sri Mara Sri Vallabha invaded our kingdom and attacked, plundered our wealth, taken away all valuables, including Buddha's statue, which is depicted in javelins. Similarly, in the early 11th century, when the Chola king Rajendra I built a Shiva temple in his capital, Gangaikonda Cholapuram, he filled it with prized statues seized from defeated rulers. This is you can say Rajendra I is a famous king of Cholas. When he built a Shiva temple at Gangaikonda Cholapuram, he has taken all the statues from the defeated rulers. And this is a temple located at Gangaikonda Chola. And he is Ghazni Muhammad, and he attacked India 17 times. He is Ghazni Muhammad of Ghazni, which is located in Afghanistan. This is Gujarat. Here we have the Somnath temple. He invaded several times the Somnath temple and plundered its wealth and looted and plundered and took away the valuables. Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni was a contemporary of Rajendra I of Chola. During his campaigns in the subcontinent, he also attacked the temples of defeated kings and looted the wealth and idols. Sultan Mahmud was not a very important ruler at that time, but by destroying the temples, especially the one at Somanath located in Gujarat, he tried to win credit as a great hero of Islam. So this is the 17 times Ghazni Muhammad invaded India. Gardens, tombs and forts. These are all next category of buildings. Among the gardens, Mughals built four important gardens. They are called Chaharbagh. Under the Mughals, architecture became more complex. It is not simple, viable. They built different kinds of buildings. Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, and especially Shah Jahan were personally interested in literature, art, and architecture. These are all the six famous Mughal emperors who had shown a lot of interest in the field of architecture, sculpture, art, and literature, except Aurangzeb. In his autobiography, Babur, the founder of Mughal Empire, described his interest in planning and laying out formal gardens placed within rectangular walled closures. Rectangular means this is a rectangular wall, and then wall divided into four quarters. Should be divided into four quarters. This is first quarter, and this is second quarter. This is third quarter. This is fourth quarter. Like that, he has shown his interest, his desire that he wanted to make Chaharbagh. These are known as Chaharbagh. These gardens were called Chaharbagh, four gardens, because of their symmetrical division into quarters. Beginning with Akbar, some of the most beautiful Chaharbaghs were constructed by Jahangir and Shah Jahan in Kashmir, Agra, and New Delhi. These are also in Lahore. These are all the examples of Chaharbagh. See here how it is, you can say, divided into four quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all called Chaharbagh. And these gardens were called Chaharbagh, four gardens, because of their symmetrical divisions into quarters. Beginning with Akbar, some of the most beautiful Chaharbaghs were constructed by Jahangir and Shah Jahan in Kashmir, Agra, Lahore and Delhi. This is one of the beautiful monument located near Agra. Can you guess? It is Fatehpur Sikri, built by Akbar using red sandstone. It has some monuments like Buland Darwaza is the tallest gateway located here, and also the Salim Chisti Dargah, Panchmahal. These are the finest buildings involved in this Fatehpur Sikri, which was the capital of Akbar from 1571 to 1585. This is the monument located in Delhi. Can you guess what is it? It is Red Fort, built by Shah Jahan again using red sandstone. Every year on the eve of Republic Day and Independence Day, the Rashtrapati and Prime Minister takes the salute from our defense forces. This is another important monument built by the Mughals. This is located in Agra. Can you guess what is it? It is Red Fort again, built by using red sandstone by Akbar on the bank of river Yamuna. It is located in Agra.